Here's a sneak peek of what your Echo can do that we're going to discuss in this very episode.
And we look forward to you joining us tomorrow for more of The Guardian Daily.
Okay, so here we are. We're listening now to AMI Audio live out of Canada.
Coming up on AMI Audio at the top of the hour, Jacob Shemansky and Nisreen Abdel-Majid present Podcast Roundup.
Well, there we go.
60 minutes later,
Cool.
Stay tuned.
Might have
for
to check
Double
that
Tap
show out.
with Steven.
Play.
Great. Enjoy listening to this podcast.
I will.
When you are done, say Alexa, stop. To
Okay.
return to the program menu, please say cancel.
This is a Vision Australia radio
Whoa.
podcast.
Turn that down a little bit. Do. Okay, so here we are. Well, hello. Welcome to the podcast. As you could tell from our prelude, we're going to be taking a look at a skill today and maybe even some streaming audio services. We're also going to take a look at some bugs that I want you all to be aware of, and I'll probably do a future episode where I actually demonstrate that. And I also want to talk about a smart home appliance that I had here in my studio that I use with my A-Lady every day, and I threw it in the trash can. So the company has seemed to take an interesting stance on security and some of their devices, and so I'm going to have some advice for y'all. If you do own any of these particular smart devices, you may want to take a second look at continuing to use those and maybe replace them with something that's more secure or up to date, or where a company has a better commitment to such things. Also, let's see, what was the other thing we covered today? Oh, I'm going to get your feedback about maybe changing our jingle on our show, and that'll be at the tail end of the episode. In fact, I'll just probably stick that right on the end after our closeout sound effects. But for our new listeners who are listening today, who wonder what they got themselves into, we'd like to welcome you. My name is David Ward. I'm an instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill, based in Southwest Virginia in the Blue Ridge Mountains. And you'll find our podcast, if since this is your first time listening, our little nuggetized episodes. We try to keep them 5 to 15 minutes long. We try to release them usually on Wednesdays, and we kind of cover new hardware, new equipment, new services. I mean, home security, home automation. We talk about a variety of disability and accessibility tools as they're released on the Echoes. And so just a whole wide gambit from youths. We did the Hey Disney stuff, all the way to parents, to seniors, to caregivers, all sorts of different situations where an Echo might be a really amazing tool to help you. And so feel free to look at our back catalog and see things. And we'll mention other ways you can reach out with thoughts and suggestions for future episodes. Well, that basically covers what we're going to be covering today. So before we get too deep in the weeds with some of these items and stuff, and we are going to in particular talk about the Vision Australia skill today, and we're also going to talk about how to stream AMI Audio, which is a Canadian network devoted, both of those networks are devoted to the blind and vision impaired. So this may not be an episode for everybody to listen to today, but if you are in those categories or have a family member, you may find that particularly interesting. Both of those radio and, TV networks in Canada, AMI, share a wide variety of content connected with assistive technology for the blind and vision impaired, but just not that. They cover cooking for the blind, they cover and vision impaired, getting jobs, employment, resumes, dating, outdoor activities. I think hiking's been discussed. I know blind golf has been discussed. I have no idea. All sorts of crazy things that you may never have thought of. And so by all means, I think you might find these networks particularly useful. So before I get into that again, in any more detail, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then we will be right back. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Well, hello again and welcome back to the podcast. As I mentioned earlier, we got a whole plethora and gambit of things we're going to cover today, and in particular, we're going to dig into some of those networks out of Australia and in Canada that have very amazing content for the blind and vision impaired. To start off, though, I am going to mention just some generic, this applies to everybody, and that was one of the appliances I took out of my office. My little Echo here used to be controlled by a smart plug made by WEMO, which is now, I believe, wholly owned or part of Belkin. And unfortunately, there's been a number of security issues, a very lackluster response. I believe some devices as new as 2019 being called end of life and not getting patches and security patches, which may allow a remote user to inject content or take control of your plug, or even maybe, depending on the scope of the vulnerability, even maybe gain access to your network and be able to try and talk to other devices. And so as a result, Stacey on IoT podcast, Stacey Internet of Things podcast, and I don't remember if Steve Gibson covered this on the Security Now podcast, but I totally trust Stacey and her co-host analysis that really, based on the stance that WEMO and Belkin as a consequence have taken with some of these things, that these are really probably equipment you don't need to have in your house. And find a better manufacturer that has a bigger commitment to security and taking care of their users. So I pulled that plug out and it went in the trash can. And they're easy to replace. You can go on Amazon and find TP-Link, Meros, most importantly, maybe a Matter-compliant protocol plug. Those are rolling out now, which will really future-proof you with the different devices you use. And so that definitely might want to be something to consider. And so there you go. And just so you know that I'm not talking out of turn, I am an internationally certified Security Plus CompTIA certified professional. So all of this rings true to me when I'm hearing, even though I haven't dug into all the white papers and documentation. It makes sense to me. So I have chucked that device and I've moved on to other smart plugs. So anyway, that was one thing I wanted to mention. The other thing I want to mention too is bugs. And we may have a demo of this. It isn't the easiest thing for me to demo, and it would kind of take a while to do, but I will probably try and bring this into a podcast maybe next week or in the weeks to come. And that is Amazon Echo bugs. And I want our audience to know that you are not alone. You are not alone. The Echo software in some respects is showing a little bit of wear. Its threads are it's getting a little threadbare in certain areas. And I don't know if that's because of employment cuts, developer cuts, whatever is going over on at Amazon. But this is a little bit, I love these devices, and I wouldn't say this if I didn't love these devices. And I know our listeners love these devices too. So feel free to reshare this, post this, reach out to Amazon, as well, because I'm not alone, and I'm sure you guys have experienced these things as well. So I do have brand new Echoes. These aren't old Echoes. These are the brand new 5th generation Dots, which I would imagine are their by far most prolific seller. That's probably what most people have, with all the really cool sensors and things they have in them for temperature and haptic feedback, amazing things. But I've had them on multiple Echoes. Now, it is possible that I have had Echoes since the early days, that my account in some way has some cruft. But the nature of the problem, given that I am a software developer, a novice in some respects, and as I said, I have an IT background, I don't think these things have anything to do with the age of my account. And I don't even think they're device specific, because I've had it happen on multiple devices in one part of my house and another part of my house. Had it happen at the office, on Echo shows, I think. I've had it happen almost on everything. So here's one of the problems I've been encountering, and it's been going on for a while, and it's playback of podcasts. So I want to bring that out. Mostly it has to do with, now I've only ever had this, I've had this happen with more than other things. It's not so common lately, but it's probably because I've just given up on probably trying to listen to certain podcasts on the Echoes. But that is that I'm listening to a long form podcast, maybe an hour or two long, and it loses its track position and it jumps. Usually it jumps backwards, and I'm like, come back into the room and like, didn't I just hear that 15 minutes ago? And I did, because it lost its tracking where it was in the playback. So that's a problem. It typically occurred when I was listening to This Week in Tech podcasts, but it has happened with other things as well. So that is not unique. The other thing that is more frustrating with that, and seems to be maybe connected with that, is it's not keeping track of the overall size of the show in minutes and seconds. And as a result, I'll try and say, okay, A lady, fast forward 15 minutes to get back to where I need to be. And she'll say, there's not 15 minutes left in the show. And I know there's an hour left in the show. And so it loses entire tracking on where it's at. And sometimes it'll even give you an entirely fictitious answer like, you cannot fast forward, you are negative 15 minutes in. Like it's like a bizarro number that doesn't make any sense at all. And so that's a common problem I encounter at all. And that one I can probably easily reproduce for y'all on a podcast. The other thing is that I've tried is I thought maybe it was linked to the databases we were pulling from, the Amazon Music database. So I switched off of that to the Apple Podcast database. I didn't think it was very likely, since that information is mostly just a link to the same MP3 or audio files. But it happened on Apple too. It happened when it was pulling from that database. So it seemed to be more of something with the way they were parsing the audio file, or the metadata connected with the audio file, like the length and things like that. So, but I do believe I have successfully found a kludgy workaround, which is playing those podcasts on Spotify. So I don't know if Spotify wrote the implementation custom-wise and didn't have that same bug that the other products had with pulling from Amazon or TuneIn's databases or Apple's database. I'm trying to remember if I've had the same thing happen on TuneIn, but definitely on Apple and Amazon Music. And but on Spotify, I would not have those problems. I could go over to Spotify. It would remember where I was in the podcast. I could back it up. I could move it forward. I wasn't having it jump or lose its track and then back up 10 minutes, like out of the blue. So that seems to be, and that's an implementation I've been just trying over the last 2 weeks, seems to solve the problem. So I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention. You can even change Spotify to your default podcast player by going into the A-Lady settings on the app and going to your account settings. And then I think it's under music and podcast. You can go in there and customize that. Okay, so those are the big things. There are bugs going on with Audible, which I would say is embarrassing. Embarrassing, Amazon, since you own that company, and it is a real amazing company with amazing products and audio performances, and I like to buy certain books on there. I can't get anywhere else and listen to them, but it's kind of embarrassing that we're having really bad results with Audible on the Amazon Echo. I have it routinely drop out and say, I can't connect to your book while it's still continuing to read the book. And then because of some bug in what the implementation, it will continue to play that segment of the book, whatever it is, maybe usually like a 10 to 15 minute segment, not quite up usually always to a chapter heading, I don't think. And it will just cut out. It'll just cut out and it'll stop. And then when I try to resume the audiobook, it will roll back all the way back to wherever that cutout happened, which is generally 10 to 15 minutes back. So there's obviously some sort of problem going on there, and they definitely needs to be resolved. I mean, Audible books are a premium cost and feature, and there's a service connected with that, and really on your very own product, it's like walking into McDonald's and the McDouble is not cooked right. I mean, it's something that should be expected. So hopefully that can be something that is fixed as well. All right, so let's delve into the skills and features for the vision impaired or the totally blind. And there's a wide range of audio services, both in Britain through the RNIB, in Australia through Vision Australia, and Canada through AMI, which is Accessible Media Incorporated, which has both a TV network and an audio network that just does audio. And they're very, very, very cool. And one of the shows I love to listen to every day at noon is on live, as it were, is the Double Tap Show at 12 noon with Stephen Scott and Sean Priest. And so this is the way I usually play that. I just go over to my A-Lady. Oh, by the way, I'm about to say the commands. So if you have an echo in hearing distance of me, you may want to shut its ears off because I'm about to say the A-Lady name. So I'll just give you a second to do that. That way I'm not tripping up your echo. Now, occasionally this may go goofy on me, like I think I'm saying something else, but generally it seems to be working okay. If you were to have real problems with this, you could go in and create a custom routine that literally you type out the name specifically and you won't have the problem. Okay, but here it is, AMI audio, right? Alexa, play AMI audio on TuneIn.
AMI audio from TuneIn.
Now, we may cut out these commercials here and just kind of fast forward real quick because there are commercials through TuneIn generally.
And we look forward to you joining us tomorrow for more of the Guardian Daily.
Okay, so here we are. We're listening now to AMI Audio live out of Canada.
On AMI Audio at the top of the hour, Jacob Shanansky and Nisreen Abdel-Majid present Podcast Roundup.
Well, there we go.
60 minutes later,
Cool.
Stay tuned.
Might have
for
to check
Double
that
Tap
show out.
with Stephen Scott
So there's a
and Sean
wide
Priest.
variety of content produced by AMI Audio that,
You're listening to
that
an AMI podcast.
deals with, let me turn that down, assistive technology, outdoor activities, cooking, all sorts of stuff. So very, very, very cool. And like I said, I love to listen to the Double Tap Show every day at noon, usually on my lunch break. Okay. All right. So, and of course, you can play a lot of these shows as a podcast. And, I could just say play the podcast Double Tap, and I could specify the network, but generally it's going to pull it up and play it in case I missed a show any given day. Now, I feel like if they had a skill, which we're about to visit with Vision Australia, it may be much more versatile, and you may not run into these conflicts where maybe it's conflicting with a different name that say it sounds like AMI Audio on TuneIn and stuff. So I think that would be a great thing for AMI to develop, is a skill. Speaking as an agency that is connected with the local radio reading service for the blind, and having developed a skill, it's almost non-existent cost. So, of course, obviously, creating a more complex skill would cost more money, but I think it would be well worth it, especially to international listeners. So anyway, so that is AMI Audio. So let me stop that.
And of course,
Alexa, stop. Okay, so now let's move on to, now obviously you can look up their shows and what's going on every day on their website if you want to figure out what the schedule was. Okay, let's move on to Vision Australia. Now this is pretty cool because they have an actual skill. And so let's give this a try. Alexa, open Vision Australia skill.
Okay, here's Vision Australia.
There we go.
Hi there.
Hi.
Welcome to Vision Australia.
Mm-hmm.
You are in the main menu. You can return to this menu from anywhere within the skill except when you are listening to radio or podcast.
Oh, okay.
To do this, say main menu.
Main menu, okay.
What can I help you with today? You can interrupt me at any time. To learn about what we do and how we can help you, say 1. To learn more about eye conditions that impact vision health, say 2. To listen to your local Vision Australia radio, say 3. To listen to our latest podcasts, say 4. To contact us or find your closest center, say 5. You can also say repeat. Which would you like?
4.
Vision Australia's wide range of podcasts has something for everyone. Whatever topics you are interested in, you will be able to find something to suit you. We have 16 programs. You can interrupt me at any time when you hear the one you're after. For behind the scenes, say 1. For cover to cover, say 2. For focal point, say 3. For hear this, say 4. For interview highlights, say 5. For leisure link, say 6.
Let's try 4.
For Seeing Eye Dogs show, say 7.
Alexa,
For Studio 1.
4.
Welcome to Hear This. Hear This is a weekly presentation from the Vision Australia Library Service, bringing you up to date with what's on offer alongside reviews and reader recommends.
Okay.
There are 100 episodes in this series. What would you like to do? Hear the newest episode, or browse through previous episodes?
Newest.
This is Hear This 14th of July 2023. Choose from one of the following. Play, or episode description.
Play.
Great. Enjoy listening to this podcast.
I will.
When you are done, say Alexa, stop.
Okay.
To return to the program menu, please say cancel.
This is a Vision Australia radio
Whoa.
podcast.
Turn that down a little bit. Do. Okay, so here we are. It's quite an intro.
Take a look inside the book. Take a look.
Okay, so let me just do a little commentary while it's playing in the background.
I'm Frances Keeland. Here, this is the program for the Vision Australia Library where we look
Okay, cool. So the thing I really like about this skill, although it's a little bit verbose, but you can cut it off at any time. You can say A lady number 3 if you already know where you want to go. The thing I like is it's kind of really neat because, one, do you want to listen to the newest or there's an old one? That's really kind of slick. You know, if you know there was an older one you wanted or you wanted to start back at a certain one and work forward. The other thing, at first I found it kind of annoying, like, why aren't you just playing it? But then it says, do you want to play or do you want to listen about the episode? So it could actually read back the show notes about that episode and give me some feedback. So that's kind of super cool too. So I love that. It really gives it a real hearty podcast capability built into that skill for their content from Vision Australia. So super, super cool. Of course, I love David Woodbridge's content out of there. He does some amazing stuff. And so anywho, that is Vision Australia skill. And it seems like they've crammed quite a bit of stuff in there as well. And they, of course, it sounds like they had that live capability to listen to. So anywho, just feel free to check that out. So let me stop her now.
Ilona, a
Alexa,
concentration camp.
Stop.
See you next time.
Okay.
To continue listening, say resume.
Okay. So that wraps up those skills and topics that we were going to cover today. So super, super cool. So we've covered bugs, WEMO stuff. We've covered bugs in the Echo and then these cool skills and or live streaming capabilities. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions for a future episode, we would love to hear your feedback at info@goodwillvalleys.com. And just earmark it, say, hey, I'm trying to reach David of the Echo Tips podcast or Dave. And I thought I'd really like this episode or I'd like to hear more about this, you know, and we could maybe revisit those topics if we haven't covered them already. So, or cover them fresh and new. So love to hear that feedback. Also, maybe if you have some new experience with some of the newer hardware, like you've actually had your hands on the Amazon Echo Pop. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. Or maybe on the 15-inch Echo Show or something like that. We'd love to hear your feedback, and that's super, super helpful to us. You can also give that feedback on Facebook or Twitter, and just look up Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and then you can send us a little message. And once again, earmark it, say it's for the Echo Tips podcast, and I was trying to reach Dave with a topic. Well, anyway, that will bring our show to a close. But if you'd like to give us some feedback about changing our jingle, after the closing notes here on our podcast, we will play some little jingles there, and you guys can give me some feedback. These were some ones that were given to me by some folks from our marketing team and different ones, so I don't know if I like them or not. I was kind of leaning towards something with the ukulele, but I don't know. But you guys can give us feedback once again and let us know. I would love to have the audience participate in selecting a new jingle. Anywho, that will bring the show to a close. It's that time again to turn the ears back on your Echo. Start practicing some of the many, many, many things that you've learned. I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. Let me tell you a bit more. Let me put on my official sounding voice. Ahem. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Phew! Thanks for listening.
Okay, so here is possible new theme music. This is number 1. If you're voting, vote for number 1 if you like it. Kind of punchy. I don't know. That's number 1. Oh, it's gonna break loose. Alright, we're on to number 2, if you like this one. So it's got a little more of a fantasy kind of... Yeah, it's kind of like this one too. Number 2. Okay, we're on to number 3 here. This one's pretty upbeat. I have to drink a lot of coffee. This is my new sleep. Number 3, guys. I don't know. It's a lot of energy. Okay, this is number 4 in our final option. And we might bring in some others here in a future episode too. Number 4. I like the piano. All right, guys. So just let me know 1, 2, 3, or 4, and you could probably vote on this on Spotify, or you can tweet, Facebook, or email me and just let us know. All right, thanks.